Hey, what's up, everybody? Scott Spreitzer here, DocSports.com, with my Week 3 college football top 5 countdown. 5 plays coming up in just a moment. We'll get to those, of course, on Thursday. It is Football Thursday at DocSports.com. You'll be able to get all of my football plays for the entire weekend, college and pro. Biggest card yet. We finally got some Week 1 NFL data. Couple of weeks now of college football data. 7-star and 6-star lead the way with this weekend's college and pro football package. So if you want to jump on board or just check it all out, head over to my homepage at DocSports.com. Also wanted to mention that top play run, by the way, is up over $36,000. And college and pro football, this was the weekend we kicked it off, really kicked into gear last year, and we went 66-43 from that point forward in college football and pro football combined right through the Super Bowl. So I love it when we get to Week 2 NFL, when we get to Week 3 college football. And again, you'll be able to get all my plays on my homepage at DocSports.com. Also, quick programming note before we jump into these games. My first NFL Top 5 Countdown will be available Thursday evening. Going to try to kick it out there no later than 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And, of course, it'll be up all weekend long on the Docs YouTube channel. All right, last week, Top 5 Countdown either went 2-2-1 or 3-2, depending on when you got the Iowa Hawkeyes. They either pushed at +3 or covered at +3.5. Let's look to have a winning card with these top 5 plays. And we're going to start, of course, with number 5, and that would be California plus the points over Minnesota. This line came down right out of the blocks and then has gone right back up to 2.5. And Cal didn't get a lot of credit last season. You know, they finished 6-6 in the regular season. They lost to UNLV in a bowl game. They lost that season finale, kind of an ugly one, to SMU, but they didn't have season-long starting quarterback Fernando Mendoza for either game because he did transfer. But they might be better off with this freshman quarterback. His last name is Saga Politelli. I'm going to call him JKS the rest of this preview. He was a 4-star recruit. He verbally committed to Cal. Then he signed with Oregon. Then he thought about it again, and he went back to Cal, decided that was the place for him after all. 70% passer, deep ball accuracy, ability to throw on the run, tremendous off-balance passing ability. He's got a 3/4 angle throw that gets where it's supposed to go, at least thus far. The defense did slam the door on Oregon State and Texas Southern. The Gophers, obviously tougher nut to crack than those two teams. I agree, though, that Cal, with that first movement going down, was the way to go. The early action coming in on Cal. The Cal Golden Bears over Minnesota is my number 5 play. Number 4, we turn to an old Mountain West rivalry. Of course, Utah not in the Mountain West anymore, but they are a 23.5-point favorite at Wyoming. And the Utes suffered an injury-plagued, injury-riddled 2024 campaign, but they're healthier now, and they were able to convince former New Mexico quarterback Devon Dampier to transfer to Salt Lake. He can really pick him apart, and he can also really pick him up and put him down when it comes to his running ability. He topped 1,000 yards on the ground with the Lobos last year. So far this year with Utah, 79% completion rate in the first 2 games, rushing for over 5.5 yards per carry. He does know Wyoming from playing in the same conference and putting 45 points on the Cowboys last year. In that game, he rushed for more than 200 yards. He rushed for 3 touchdowns. Dampier in 2 games, basically about a game and a half against Wyoming, he has averaged 15.4 yards per carry. Okay, that's probably not going to stay there at 15.4, but you get the general idea. The Cowboys don't have the offensive punch, as far as I'm concerned, to hang this number against Utah. So my number 4 play is the Utah Utes minus the points over Wyoming. Old rivalry here. It is West Virginia and Pitt. Right now, Pitt laying 7. It's about 8 p.m. Eastern time as I record this on a Wednesday. This game at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. And I'm taking the points. I'm recommending to play on West Virginia in this rivalry game. It's a good opportunity for old/new coach Rich Rodriguez in Morgantown to turn things around after last week's loss to a pretty good Ohio team. The good news for this team is that the defense has been able to put pressure on opposing quarterbacks, 7 sacks in 2 games. Pitt's beaten a pair of outmanned teams and only led Central Michigan by 7 points in the third quarter and then finally covered in the final few seconds of that game. I know that closely because I had Pitt last week, as those of you who jumped on board know, and we were able to eke out that win. 6 of the last 8 meetings between these two teams have been decided by a touchdown or less. I do believe we are in for yet another close game in this rivalry, and I do believe that West Virginia plus the points is the way to go. We're turning to an early game for our number 2 play. Memphis laying 3.5 at Troy. And I'm backing Memphis here, minus the points on the road. Troy's off the incredible effort against Clemson, but they ran out of gas and simply just don't have the players to compete with that level of football for an entire 4 quarters. The offense was held to 10 points. They only got 10 points in the 27-16 loss. They trailed Nicholls State 17-10 early in the 4th quarter of that game before finally winning by 18. The passing game leaves a lot to be desired. They're 103rd in the nation, and that spells trouble against Memphis. They're only giving up 83.5 yards rushing per game. Teams are going to need, at least at this level, a balanced effort to be able to beat Memphis, in my opinion. And in this bettor's opinion, I don't think that this Troy team is going to be able to get the job done. The Tigers defense is playing extremely well. They have 6 sacks on the season. They won last year 38-17, did Memphis, as a 19-point favorite. I think there's value with this number. I like Memphis, our number 2 play, minus the points over Troy. And that leads us to the marquee matchup of the week, which is Georgia at Tennessee. The Bulldogs right now laying 3.5 points in this one. Game time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. I've dug a little bit deeper into this one, and this has been all Georgia, as everybody knows, for many years. And I do believe they're the right side again. This line was as high as 7 just a few days ago in a couple of books, 6.5s and 7. It's now 3.5 everywhere, and I'm a little surprised there's been virtually zero buyback as of Wednesday evening for the last 24 hours or so. I know Georgia hasn't been blowing out opponents thus far, but that's Kirby Smart. He doesn't bring all the tools in the tool bag or to the workplace against outmanned opponents. I expect the tools to be included this time, and I also expect Georgia quarterback Gunnar Stockton and his wide receivers to attack the Tennessee secondary. It's a banged-up secondary that's 84th in yards per game allowed through the air against weak opposition. Tennessee, they've managed just 1 interception in 71 passes thrown against them thus far. You look at Georgia, you look at this series, they've outscored the Vols 48-14 in the second half of the last 4 meetings, including 28-0 in the second half of the last 2 meetings combined. It's been 3 years since Tennessee scored a point after halftime against the Bulldogs. I think Georgia gets the job done again. I think it's a fair price if you like the Bulldogs at minus 3.5. My number 1 play in the countdown, the marquee matchup, is the Georgia Bulldogs minus the points. Recapping, California plus the points over Minnesota, my number 5 play. Number 4, Utah lay on the lumber over Wyoming. Number 3, West Virginia plus the points over Pittsburgh. Number 2, Memphis minus the points at Troy. And that's an early game, if I didn't mention it, by the way, on Saturday, 12 noon Eastern time. And again, the marquee matchup, the Georgia Bulldogs laying 3.5 to Tennessee. We like that up to 4. And that is the top 5 college football countdown for this weekend, September 13th of the college football season. And again, quick programming note, I will be right back here Thursday evening, and we should have it up and ready to go, the video, by 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, and we'll feature a top 5 countdown in the NFL, which will include sides, might include some totals, might include some props, that kind of stuff, all right? And again, on Thursday, you can get all my picks for the entire weekend, my premium picks on my homepage at DocSports.com, led by the 7-star and 6-star plays in this weekend's college and pro football. All right, everybody, I hope you like these videos. If you do, certainly click on that thumbs up. We appreciate it. Subscribe, click that bell button so you can always be alerted to our videos over at DocSports.com. I'm Scott Spreitzer. You know what to do, everybody. Let's put the countdown in the win column. We'll be back here on Thursday night. Take care.